Inside MLFB on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. Bet $50 at WynnBET and get 200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WynnBET. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bets today. We're also brought to you by IPVanish. IPVanish is the official VPN of SGPN, and they're offering 70% off. If you go to ipvanish.com/SGP, that's ipvanish.com/SGP, and make sure to check out our new Discord server, the perfect place to interact and sweat bets with the entire SGPN crew. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Joining us today on Inside MLFB, Chase Sessoms, Arkansas Attack beat reporter. Chase, I got nothing to say other than just what the fuck.
Sad day. Just yes. It's something that felt so very out of the blue. And you know, there are fans of football out here who are, of course, upset because, well, you know, for one, it just means less football in the world. For you and I don't want to say that we have extra license to be more upset, but we've grown to know these players. We've grown to like these players. We've built relationships with them, and your heart just absolutely breaks for them, especially if you know what we're expecting is true and the league is folding. But you know, of course, there's a lot of speculation out there. We haven't heard anything official from the MLFB yet. So I mean, who's to say that it couldn't still be on later? But right now, it doesn't look good.
You know, if you haven't seen the news yet, and you're coming to this and you're wondering what happened, players today were locked out of their hotels at Major League Football camp in Mobile. According to some reporting done by some local reporters, it's pretty much been confirmed now that there was non-payment of the hotels across the board. And that came from, let me find the exact tweet on that, but it's sounding like pretty official at this point that that's what happened. And the question is just, how did we end up here? You know, how did we end up here? How did we end up at this point? And it's hard, you know, like you said, we spent a lot of time on this, we talked to these players. We were working really hard to tell some great stories. Simone Eli, or Eli of WKAG in Mobile had it. She has a quote from Danny Cordy saying that Major League Football that the Mobile Sports Authority was informed that they were not keeping up their obligations to the hotels. So that's from the Mobile Sports Authority Executive Director, Danny Cordy, who was on here. The hotels haven't been paid, all but official at this point. The questions are going to be, why? We don't know why. We haven't heard anything. Major League Football has been dark. I got a call at 2:19 from a player today saying they're going floor by floor, kicking us out of the hotel because they haven't been paid. And so you have so many players that put a pause on other opportunities. You had players that left arena teams. You had players that passed up XFL tryouts because they saw guarantee a higher probability, almost a guarantee of a check and a guarantee of film. And that's what these players crave. And that's what a lot of these players need. And that's what a lot of these players who were in this 2022 draft class or the COVID classes needed. They were getting this shot. They were getting an opportunity to compete best on best. And just this feeling is just becoming all too familiar in spring football. And I think that's just where it hits for me and fans everywhere. And it's a little sickening, I'm going to say it, to see some folks trying to take a victory lap saying, I told you so. It was fishy. Remember when I said this? Just, God, do you have to be so, like,
Before you take your victory lap, let's consider the 60 players times 4.
Let's consider the 250 some odd players who just had the rug pulled out from under them.
Yes.
Who had a chance.
Yeah.
Who up until this, Major League Football had done everything they said. They paid the stadiums. They were feeding the players. They were housing the players. The players got their camp stipends. It wasn't big.
Yeah.
You know, but everything was taken care of at camp. And it's just.
I think that really adds to the being upset and kind of the feelings that you're feeling, which I know I can assure you are the exact same feelings that I'm feeling, which are, just you feel sick about it. And the people who did pass up, decided not to go to the XFL showcase, who decided not to, who maybe passed on something in indoor football, an arena football league or the ELF or Mexico or anything else.
Guys who left the Mexican league and came right in to play.
Because one of the things that I absolutely loved about this league was the number of players who didn't have pro experience, who were coming from Kutztown, St. Augustine, Mary Hardin Baylor. I can keep naming just, obscure schools that I had to learn existed that I didn't know existed beforehand, and seeing some of these kids tape, and it's electrifying. And I'll tell you this, there's something romantic about the athlete who refuses to give up on their dream. It's why we love Crash Davis and Bull Durham. It's why we love, it's why we're sad watching Friday Night Lights when Tim Riggins leaves his cleats on the field after the state championship game, because he knows he's never going to play, football again. It's not like you can play college football and if you don't make it, hey, there's a recreational beer league that you can play in or something. Like that's not the nature of football. Like that's it. It's done whenever
you can't earn a living doing it anymore. And this, was this the highest paying league? No, but they were going to make respectable money for a month's worth of work, and they were going to get that film.
Yeah.
And it's just, you have these guys who have made strides, been working on things. D'Angelo Fulford, guy out of a D3 college, working his ass off, wanting to get this shot. Tyquil Fields, guy who came out in the draft class this year. You have guys like Michael Badejo from an HBCU who got passed over. You have guys like Akil Greer who bounced around a little bit, but seemed to finally be hitting his stride at St. Aug's. Yes. Now coming here. You have a guy like Connor Kagi who's bounced around the pro leagues, is a little bit older. He, and he's done a lot to improve his game. He has a lot of tools to make things happen. And this was going to be his shot. This was going to be so mmany guys' best shot.
Yeah. Tavis Taylor, who ran for 1,100 yards in 5 games.
Yeah.
And you had, you mentioned a St. Aug guy, another St. Aug guy that I talked to a good bit, Jalen Jones, who, if you watch his tape, is just absolutely electric. And it makes me this is pure speculation, but it makes me wonder if the streaming deal that had been teased and you'd seen talk of on Twitter.
I talked about a broadcast deal. We've been told time and again that the broadcast deal was coming.
But it makes me wonder: was the broadcast deal a lifeline? Was it the last ditch?
We won't know. We won't know the answers to a lot of these questions for a bit. More than likely, either the league will pull it together and make it happen, or either the league will pull it together and make it happen, or pick through the wreckage after the fact. Like, that's just it. Like,
yeah.
And it hurts that that's what we have to say, is we're waiting to find out what's going to happen, what the answer is, because we were excited.
Very.
There were coaches, there were players, they were on the field. They did the scrimmages in the jamboree. They were starting to come together. The product might have looked a little rough, but they'd had like a week of training camp and they
Yeah.
were starting to come together. All the players were saying it's starting to come together. We're so excited. And instead, it's another instance of instead of talking about some of the great moments on the field, like with the AAF and the XFL, we're just going to talk about where it all went wrong off the field. We're going to have the focus in the wrong spot. And unfortunately, unlike the AAF and the XFL, there won't actually be any football to look at. There's just going to be potentially, I mean, in theory, maybe they have a miracle. I don't know what that miracle is, but
Yeah.
this is either the end of the drama or the climactic turn of the drama. It's one of the two. There's no in between. It's either the end and it's the sad, and we're going to get the concluding credits where we find out what everybody went on to do, or this is going to be the climactic moment where someone rides in and saves it.
Right. And I hope that the latter and not the former is the case. Because I when you first approached me about being a beat writer for the MLFB, I was like, I've got some things going on. I'm not sure if I've got time. And, you talked me into it. And as I got into it and the more I got to research, the more I got just excited about not only, I mean, we've mentioned the players. Let's talk about the coaches for a second. Let's talk about the fact that you've got who I feel is a absolute coaching star in the making with Darius Bell, who's going to be essentially, either just taking whatever job will come to him during this college/professional season, when that's someone who could, who should be dictating what job he takes next. Coach like Ernest Wilson, hell, Bernard Holsey, the Arkansas defensive line coach. He was the head football coach at a high school in Wisconsin, and he had built that team into an absolute winner. And yet he took the next step after that, but he could be coaching and fostering these young players that he's been watching grow and develop over this time. And it sucks for the coaches too. I mean, they're not all Jerry Glanville. Jerry Glanville, I would think a little bit more secure than some of these other guys, and that sucks. Sucks for them.
Then you got to make sure to get down on the wins bet 50 win $200 promotion, where a $50 bet qualifies you for up to $200 in free bets. Bet $500 on sports or casino before July 31st, 2022. Get entered to win the ultimate fantasy football draft experience at Encore Beach Club, including a 2-night stay at Wynn Resorts for you and your entire league. Multiple entries are allowed. There's so much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bets today. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And make sure to check out our new Discord server, the perfect place to interact and sweat bets with the entire SGPN crew. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/discord. Did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without added security, you might as well give away all your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. That's why I use IPVanish VPN to make it easy to stay truly private and secure on the internet. IPVanish helps you safely browse the internet by encrypting 100% of your data. This means that your private details, password, communications, browsing history, and more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. It's that simple. You can use IPVanish on unlimited devices without sacrificing on speed. Your computers, tablets, phones, even devices like your Fire Stick when you're streaming media. Whether I'm at home or in public, I don't go online anymore without using IPVanish. IPVanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's just like getting 9 months for free. IPVanish is super easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're instantly protected. You won't even know it's on. Stop sharing with the world everything you stream, everything you search for, and everything you buy. Take your privacy back today with the brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. So go to ipvanish.com/SGP and use promotional code SGP. Claim your 70% savings. That's ipvanish.com/SGP. Hindsight's 2020 and you can't change the past. But what if you could get a little help from your future self? Maybe you'd ask to borrow a little cash. Now you can with Dave. Dave is the banking app that can get you up to $500 instantly with extra cash. That's more money to fill your tank, buy a wedding gift, or catch up on bills. You can finally tackle those expenses that have been stressing you out with any hangups. There's no interest and no credit check needed. Millions of people have already downloaded the Dave app to get the financial relief they need with extra cash. So if you're in a pinch and need some extra help, download Dave and think of it as a helping hand from future you. Download the Dave app from the App Store right now. That's DAVE. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve, member FDIC. Future you will thank you. I like Terry Shea. And let's just talk about one of the stories that's going to come out of this is Terry Shea. You know, people have told me Terry Shea paid for the Armada players to have a place to stay tonight. Yeah. Terry Shea put his money down, is what I was told, to make sure that his players had a place to stay tonight as they tried to sort this out. This is what you want from your coaches of young men. This is what you want from your coaches at every level. And it's just, these are going to be the stories that we remember. Yeah. Instead of, and it's not even like the AAF or the XFL where we can say, some people are going to talk about this, but then this. And we're never going to have what could have been. And that hurts because we were getting excited. There were guys with stories, and we were excited for them to get their shot finally.
Because at this point, could you, if say someone does ride in and save the day, at this point, could you fault any of the players for saying, you know what?
The players want their money up front. If anyone in the league expects the players to do anything, they better pay them up front.
Because it's not like this isn't a dangerous job. Like
it's a massively dangerous job, and you just humiliated all of these guys. You just left them out in the wind.
Yep.
And that's harsh to say, but it's what happened.
Yep.
You know, these guys had the rug pulled out from under them. They were there. They were ready to play. You've seen guys on Twitter saying, we were ready to play. We've heard it from guys. We were starting to round into shape. And just the pain, the frustration in everybody's voices today was just so much. And
it's hard to find words other than say like fucking A, man. Like fuck. That's really it feels
that's it. And it's just it felt like it had potential to settle into a nice niche.
Yeah.
It felt like it, and they were bringing, and they were going into 4 cities. It seemed like they nailed the cities.
Yeah.
The buzz was starting in Little Rock. People were excited. Mobile, people were excited. People were showing up to training camp, just showing up. And people were talking about being excited. Virginia Beach, people were getting excited. All of this buzz was starting, and it's just, these cities got the rug pulled out from under them at this point too. I mean, unless there's a miracle, Virginia Beach, Little Rock, Canton, and Mobile got denied the chance to see a professional football team representing their cities.
Yeah. And I can only really speak from the Arkansas point of view, but I mean, they were going to be playing in War Memorial Stadium, and the University of Arkansas has just like slowly been taking games away from War Memorial Stadium to the point that I actually don't think we have one this year. It was one of the most electrifying venues in football. It's small, but it's loud. And now I'm thinking like literally there's everywhere except for a small corner of the state, you have to travel for hours upon hours to see, big time football. And I can't say that the MLFB was going to be big time by any means, but it was going to be more than high school football. It was going to be something that you could get behind and say that was yours. And
it was going to have your state's name on it. It was
yeah,
going to come and play in a place, like you said, that's been denied and slowly had games taken away from it. It was going to be Little Rock's team. And, in a place like Little Rock, they're going to be fiercely passionate about this. And it's just,
yeah,
that's just it. I mean,
you feel sick. It makes you feel sick. And it's one of to me, something that's unforgivable. There are two things unforgivable: playing with someone's money and playing with someone's dreams.
and this hit both of them.
Both.
This seems like it nailed both squarely.
Yep.
You took the dreams of 250 players and you just dashed them. Potentially.
Yep.
We'll say potentially dashed them.
The guys that I talk to that I've built a little bit of a relationship with, I can't do anything, but I'll be their biggest advocate. I will be tweeting them at the whatever football league I can tweet at that has a Twitter handle. And because there are some guys that deserve a shot. They deserve a shot because at the end of the day, everyone deserves a fucking chance.
And it's unfortunate that we keep having these things happen because
all right, so this leads me to I got a question for you. I want your opinion on this. I was critical of like the USFL and the XFL, who seemed to me to put the cart in front of the horse in terms of locking up a television broadcast deal before they even had players or like a product to put on the field. And now I got to ask, is that just how do you think that it's a prerequisite now to even have a league that takes the field, is to have that broadcast television deal in your back pocket, streaming, whatever?
You need to have something, I think, is what this shows. And there's all sorts of rumors out there right now. There's all sorts of discussion. There's people saying that there's just funding hiccups, that the money's there, and we won't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
All we know is
we hope that's the case.
We do, and we hope that there's something coming that's going to pull everything together and salvage it. But what we see right now is players heading back home, players driving through the night to get home, players trying to get on flights, players stranded in Mobile, and it hurts.
Yep.
And maybe the TV deal is a prerequisite, and it's frustrating because we've had a bunch of good USFL news coming out about all these players getting signed, all these players getting chances. And we were excited and one of the reasons why MLFB was going to be interesting was because they were playing in August. Guys were going to be game ready, playing at game speed during training camp. So if they balled out, they could have gotten signed to a roster.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, sure, these leagues are about money, but for fans, they're about football, and they're about players getting opportunities that they deserve.
Yeah.
And any last thoughts?
I like don't get me wrong. I am all for upstarts like this trying to make it happen. Um, but also there's part of me that wonders, like, should you even continue to try to be an upstart now, or are we just at football critical mass where another league can't be supported? And if that's the case, well, then that sucks, because like you said, there are all sorts of players out there that deserve their chance, and it's just one less avenue. We can't all have great agents and be plugged into the USFL, into the XFL, into IFL, into ELF, into X League, into, I mean, there's a lot, there's so much football out there. And yeah, I mean, God, it does suck for the cities. Like they picked some great cities, and it's just, I don't know, it blows. You know, I can't be selfish and say that this impacts me on a great level, but it does impact me too. It impacts you, I know, because for one, just I can't imagine how you, who have worked incredibly hard, got to commend you on putting a team
I
together.
appreciate it, but it's not this isn't that's so far down the line of
Sure,
things
of
that we
course.
should. This is about players and coaches, and
Yep.
I'm going to wrap it up here because there's clearly an appetite for football. People were getting excited about this league with what little there was to go on with there was the emergence of a grassroots movement. There was the emergence of grassroots coverage between sites like us, local newspapers, and it's just, as one of the equipment guys said, the idea of a startup football league is just so American, to just strike out and try something despite the fact that everybody else has failed. And to say, nah, we got this.
Yeah.
Because they did it differently. They really did. And they bought the AAF's lightly used equipment. They had a glut of equipment that they got for cheap. That's a huge hurdle. They had all these things. They had so many things in their camp.
They didn't bite off more than they could chew with
It didn't
having
seem like
so
they
many
did, but maybe
teams
they did.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they did. I mean, we don't know. We won't know. And, again, they could, maybe it is just a delay. And maybe Monday they settle their debts with the hotels and they pay all the players for week one, and they say, guys, here's your week one checks. Who knows? Who knows what it'll be? Who knows what'll happen? But as it stands right now, players are going home. Training camp is ended, is broken down and left. And the idea behind spring football is to get opportunities to guys. We're always told that sports is the meritocracy. Sports is where your talent goes. But as we've seen more and more, it might not actually be that, because we have this glut of talented players who can keep playing in leagues like this and then get NFL shots.
Yeah.
Clearly, there needs to be this system.
Yeah.
I don't know what this system will look like, but this system needs to exist for the players, for the coaches. And I think that's just it. I think we need to believe that we can better this system and we can get players and coaches opportunities that they deserve and that they have the talent for. And I just think that's it. So I don't know if you got anything else to add.
I think you summed it up pretty perfectly, honestly.
So this has been Inside MLFB. I don't know if we'll be back, y'all. I recorded a nice episode last night with somebody. I don't know if I'll drop it or not. I might. We'll see. But if we don't talk to you again, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for listening. Hopefully we're back and we get to talk about MLFB this summer. That's the hope. We'd love for that to happen. But if not, I hope we got to tell some great stories. I hope you learned some stuff about some great players. And I hope that those players get opportunities. I hope these players and coaches get opportunities. All right. We out. So we're sitting here at about 10:30 on Thursday night. Still no word from Major League Football on what's happening. We're not sure if there will be word or not. I didn't have ad music under any of the ads tonight. It didn't feel appropriate. But I did want to play the theme song at the end because I had a former student who produces music, create the beat for me, and create the track. You did a great job, Markeith. Thank you for everything. Y'all check out the trailer. Y'all check out the credits at the end, and please go check him out. You know, if you need a track or something, hit him up. Let him create something for you. He does a good job. So, all right, y'all. Hopefully, we're back. Look forward to seeing y'all again.
Nova, the best